it seems like no matter what I do, I can't pass my competitor in Google search rankings. What are they doing that I'm not?
So this is a question where having the right tool set and experience to leverage that tool set is going to come into play. You heard us talk earlier about your keyword strategy and keyword research. This will look something like, to answer this question, it would look something like digging into your competitor's site, doing an audit of their keywords using some tools that we have in our tool belts as SEOs to deconstruct those pages, to take a look at Google and Bing and see where they're ranking well for those, and then identify gaps between your site and theirs. Oftentimes, your site probably will be outranking some of their pages in certain areas, whereas others, they're going to be outranking yours. And so using those gap analysis tools in the SEO's tool belt is really going to be important. And then also taking a look at what digital advertising your competitor is doing. More often than not, Google is, well, not more often than not, just Google is taking into account page traffic into its rankings. And one thing that you can do to boost your organic SEO rankings is to build traffic to your page. Well, the question becomes, if I don't have traffic to my page, but Google wants me to have a high traffic page, well, how am I ever going to get to the top, right? And the way to do that is through paid advertising. This model kind of creates a pay-to-play type scenario in certain instances. And this is one where you may benefit in organic rankings by actually running digital ads. I know that sounds confusing and maybe even a little counterintuitive, but it's the reality that we live in that Google's created for us here. And another big piece is going to be that Google My Business profile that we talked about earlier. Google is increasingly funneling more and more metrics for your other pages in your site's organic rankings, tying those back to the activity and the things that are happening in that Google My Business profile. So that all comes into play here, especially if you're looking at any localized keywords or really some regional specific keyword rankings here.
Right. And we should mention some of the tools, a couple that you can get for either free or low cost. Uber Suggest is really good. This is Neil Patel's tool. There's a paid component to it, but you can go quite a ways with the non-paid version to do competitive research, and it will show you what your competitor is ranking for, what you could be ranking for. He even has some great videos as to how to review your competitor sites and potentially see where you have overlapping keywords and use that information to rank better. You can also use paid tools like Moz or SEMrush that will tell you, give you competitive information and also give you a sense of how your domain overall ranks according, based in comparison to a competitor's, because that's super important. If your domain doesn't have the authority of your competitors, then chances are, just as a general rule, they're always going to rank higher than you. So in order to increase that authority, you need to be potentially expanding your site, producing more content, creating more ultra useful and relevant information on your site, so that and getting backlinks, all of those things which help you in your domain authority and ranking.
Yeah, ultimately, there's of course so many factors that go into SEO, but if you're not writing truly, because you're competing with the internet here, right? So if you're not writing truly meaningful, valuable content, we see so often folks just churning out documents with maybe even with a keyword strategy, but it's not really good content. Maybe it's not structured well, technically, things like that. So this is way too long of an answer for this episode, but just think at a high level, okay, am I creating content that is better than my competitors? Like, that's a really simple yet complex thing to think about.